Welcome back to the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking mortgages, real estate, and beyond. Today, I've got John Michael Fleming of Spinnaker Renovations out of Cedarburg. He's a general contractor, and we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but renovations and everything that goes into being a general contractor. John Michael, thanks for coming on the Snod Pod.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, let's just get right into it. At the beginning, I just always like to hear how, kind of your journey into, owning Spinnaker Renovations and becoming a general contractor. How'd you get here?
Yeah, so I grew up in a family that was always doing stuff around the house, very handy. So my grandfather was handy, my dad was handy. I was always helping everybody out. So I grew up with it, which was really nice, but never really thought that was going to be like a career path. So as time went on, I went to college and I had a family and all this stuff. So I was a stay-at-home dad forever. So that was kind of my job for a long time, but I would do a lot of handyman work in between it. So, I had a lot of friends that knew I was handy, and they'd be like, hey, come over and fix some doors for me, or hey, you want to help me build a deck on the weekend? So, I'd always be working and doing everything I could, like in between, doing what I needed to do with my kids. So a lot of the times I was bringing my kids with me to jobs.
Wow.
I used to have this little hanger that I would put my daughter on. It was like a little hook that would hold her car seat,
Like a pack and play or that type of thing?
It's like one of those, it kind of had like a hook. You could hang it from the top of a door handle.
Sure.
Or like the top of a door.
Nice.
And it would hook in, and you could just kind of swing her on there. So I'd be working at someone's house, and she'd just be hanging out in that little thing. It was...
That's great.
Yeah, it worked good. Whenever I had time to do it, I would do it, and it just evolved into, as my kids got older, I got more time to work, and then it just kind of more time once they got to school, and then both of my kids were in school. Then I had like school hours to start working. So eventually it just evolved into, a handyman business, and then I went into real estate, and then from real estate, I went into general contracting, and I was kind of doing both at the same time.
So from the real estate, I remember you've told me in the past, like you were doing real estate, you were a realtor, and then you were helping your fellow realtors out with projects, because they would be like, hey, redo your bathroom. And am I remembering that right?
Yeah, so a lot of that came into play. A lot of people right before they're selling their house, they want to do some quick fix-ups or something like that, and they'd call me and I would come and do that. Or a lot of clients would want to, do a quick little renovation after they bought it.
Okay.
And that became a lot more profitable, because people would be like, oh, especially with my own clients, I was able to kind of give them like a perspective as a builder or general contractor, and be like, hey, this wall's load bearing. This wall, isn't, this deck is fine. Or, it gave them kind of like a different, like almost like a pre-inspection while
Sure.
we're walking through, like with showings and stuff like that. So,
hey, we could do this afterwards.
yeah, this is possible, or that's
stay with me. I got a vision.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, don't look at how, crummy this house is.
Right, yeah. Let's look at it through my eyes.
Yeah,
and it's amazing when it's done. I promise you. Yeah.
I love it. So, I imagine then, being in the real estate world, you're probably still getting some business from there. So that probably still parlays into stuff. Is that?
Oh, yeah. That's, I have a bunch of realtor friends too that still will call me up and say, hey, I've got a client that needs this. I have a client that needs that. And so that's definitely bread and butter. And then just kind of word of mouth from there, just kind of getting different projects going from other people and stuff like that.
So you were just getting so much business and kind of the general contracting realm that you were like, you just moved on from real estate? Are you still in it? Or?
So what happened was that COVID kind of killed my real estate career. It was one of those things where everyone was kind of on lockdown, and everything was just very weird. That was such a weird time for everybody. And I was and people were so focused on being in their homes that the work was just coming in like crazy. So it was just, I did probably 10 living rooms or dining rooms into offices. Like people were just so stuck in their houses, like basement renovations, because they're just like, oh, I want to fix this. And they're just sitting there staring at their walls all day long, wanting to get things done. So the general contracting just took off. And then the real estate was just kind of slow. And it was like you have to wear masks and doing virtual showings and everything was just kind of a different world. So I had so much focus on just doing the renovation stuff that the real estate just kind of went to the background. And once you kind of lose that momentum in real estate and you're not out there as much and you got to really be pushing it. I'm sure all your realtor buddies know that like if you take a little break or if you don't, that momentum.
Gotta be all in.
Yeah, you got to have that momentum. And so it was kind of tough to go in between them. And I figured that I really enjoyed the contracting. I was starting to kind of enjoy that more than the real estate. And I was having more time. Real estate was great when I had my kids and they were young. And it was just, I can do
flexibility.
The flexibility is key in that job. But now that I have more time, the general contracting I just kind of ended up flowing more that way.
It just seems like your passion. The more I've gotten to know you, like you've talked about some of your jobs, and it's just like, man, I love talking to passionate people.
Yeah,
you are one of them. Man.
Well, you're a passionate guy too. That's why I think that's why we resonate to each other. You know?
All right, let's jump right into just like general contracting jobs that you get. Who's your typical client? Are they like me, where I would say, hey, John Michael, I don't want to do anything. You take care of everything. Tell me the process. Or do you get some people that are like, hey, I got a buddy who's a plumber who can help out? I guess what's your typical client when you're doing a job?
So it really varies. I mean, there's the guy that's like you who just wants me to come in and say, all right, I'm going to take care of everything. I will start to finish. I'll buy all the materials. I will do, I'll get all the plumbers in. I'll get the electrician in. I'll get the designer in. We'll get the plans done. And it's just kind of like a nice white glove service that I can give to you. And that's nice as well. But then you got the guy that's like started his demo project in his bathroom, and he's like him and his wife watch some HGTV, and they're all excited. They're like, "Oh man, we can do this. Let's do it!" And they come to me, and half the bathroom is already ripped out, and the plumbing is all disconnected, and they're just like, "Hey, my wife is really on top of me. Can you please help me out with this project? Because I'm over my head." So like I've done that project, and I've done I have everything from start to finish. So it just depends on when the job comes to me and who the clients are, and if it works out and the timing's good, then it just kind of flows into whatever it flows into. So I can do it from the start to finish. I can help you pick it up from the get-go. And just depends on how it all works out.
HGTV. It's really taken people. Like my wife wants to like flip a house. I'm like, I don't know how to do anything.
HGTV is like a contractor's worst nightmare, because you'll turn it on and the show lasts 30 minutes and it makes you look like a renovation project takes 3 days, or they'll do those those house flips in a weekend or something like that, but they don't show you all the cuts and the edits and the after the fact when what's that show where they build a house for like somebody like Ty Pennington's over there, and they take the curtain out and they show them their house. And so those houses, if you look back, and a lot of those houses, like stuff's going wrong with them all the time, because they've got the whole community comes out and starts drywalling, but the whole community doesn't know how to drywall and stuff like that. So things are falling off the walls and stuff like that. So HGTV creates an expectation that I think is a little unrealistic for most general contractors. You're looking at generally most projects take at least 6 weeks. If you're doing like a basement or a bathroom or a kitchen and stuff like that, like minimum of 6 weeks is kind of where you need to be putting your head in that space. So
what's your typical project that you're doing? And then I guess also, do you have a crew? How's it work? You got like a plumbing company you're using?
So I have a crew of guys that I have. So we'll do like the demo. Say we're going to do a basement. We've been doing a lot of basements lately. We're going to finish your basement, and you've got an unfinished basement, and it's just down there. It's just concrete, and you got your mechanicals in there. And so we'll come in there, we'll frame it all out. So my crew will do all the framing, and then I'll bring my electrician in and my plumber in, and they're independent contractors too. So
they've been using them a while.
Been using them a while, so I've got good rapport with them. So they'll like make some space for me if I need them, and they're all really good guys. So it's nice to kind of work with the same people, you know. And if you can work with the same people, it makes your job a lot easier, because then you can kind of expect what their rates are going to be. So that helps with the bidding. And everything just kind of flows that way. And so once all the electricians and the drywallers, and I'll usually hire a drywall too, because they just come in and just bust it out so much faster than like my guys could. So so we'll usually do like all the rough framing, and then once all the drywall's in, we'll do all the trim work and all the finish work. And then, you know, if you have like some custom cabinets and shelving, you know, we'll do all that stuff, and then we'll install all the cabinets, and just kind of just do all the finishing touches and stuff like that. So
got it. I love it. Well, let's stick around and do one more episode, because I'd love to talk about permits. And that's, you know, to get a permit or not to get a permit.
Yeah, I think that's something that people are very interested in. Yeah. And I get that a lot all the time too with my clients too.
Let's talk about that on next one. But real quick, can you just give, you know, your Spinnaker Renovations, you know, phone number and how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, Spinnaker Renovations. You know, you can contact me directly. My phone number is 414-943-6240. We're working on a website right now. It should be out very soon. We did some revamping we got a new logo coming out. Lots of exciting stuff. So come check us out and give me a call, and love to help you guys out.
All right, sounds good. All right, this has been the Snod Pod with your mortgage resource, John Snodgrass, where we're talking renovations, mortgages, real estate, and beyond. John Michael Fleming, thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll come back for another episode here.
Perfect.